Back to another episode of the Cats Corner. How's it going? It's Casey Campbell. How are you? We're pleased to be joined as always by Novi head hockey coach Dane Baruzzini. How's it going?
Casey, it's going great, man. How are you doing? How's the week starting for you?
Oh, the week is going pretty well. Covered a couple basketball games, and covering actually one tonight at time of recording, and then we gotta obviously and then heading to Brighton on Thursday with Clarkston, and then the big one out in the Livonia. So it'll be a pretty
Well,
fun week.
will we see you this weekend?
You will. You
Oh,
will.
that's exciting.
That is the plan.
There you go.
I never make any promises you can't keep, but it is that is the plan.
All right, that should be. I know we'll talk about that later, but that should be a good day of hockey for you to observe.
All right. All right. Let's no need to sugarcoat what I'm going to talk about next, but it has not been a good week for you guys.
No,
It is let's just talk about this week. I know this team had to battle through a lot of adversity this week, so we just kind of talk about the past two games.
Yeah, it's our schedule's not going to be easy. It's when you look at what we've played so far. I mean, we've lost 4 games to 4 top 10 teams in Division One. We played a really nice Heartland team last Tuesday. Coach Gadway had those boys ready. Those guys were rolling. And the wheels came off for us in the second period. We competed really tight in the first, kind of left the ice with a 2-goal, down 2, and then just really made some mistakes in the second. It's kind of the learning curves of the new program. There's no hiding behind. We're the first year, first year with the staff, first year with this team. So some of that just composure and resiliency, those muscles haven't really formed yet. So then we had a really good week of practice after that. We were feeling pretty good going into the M1 game, and they scored two quick ones late in the first period, put us down 2, and just the team kind of struggled to recover after that. We're a young team. We're primarily junior led, and we just weren't able to overcome it. It's our goal is to get 1% better every day, every shift, every moment. We didn't rise to that challenge last week, so we were able to take the rest of the weekend off, kind of recover. Had a couple great player coaches meetings this week. Had 2 really nice practices that kind of get us ready for tonight. But at some point in your season, you need to have that rock bottom moment. You kind of have to have that wheels fall off, and it's always better in the first 20% of the season than the last 20. So we're really looking at this, handling our adversity, coming together as a team, and now building on that in a really nice week with 2 more really strong opponents on the schedule. Starting tonight with Livonia Stevenson.
Yeah, for you, I mean, okay. Before we get to this week's games, it's time to look at the week that it was in the KLAA. Lots of good teams having some solid results. Of course, the UP trip for Howell this week, they beat Hancock 3-2, tied Calumet 3-3. So a good week for them. Brighton had a pretty good week as well. They beat the Stallions 9-0 last Wednesday. They beat Northville 4-0 on Friday, and then they beat Saginaw Heritage 9-1 on Saturday. So pretty good week for them. As you just mentioned, of course, you guys took on Heartland. They won 8-0 over you guys, and then of course they beat Canton 8-0 as well on that Thursday. So and of course you got as I mentioned and let's talk about Stevenson. Big week for them. Got 2 wins against Plymouth and Saline, both 3-2 throughout the week. And how about this? I know and how about this? Canton getting a big win against Salem, 5-4 in overtime for their first win of the season. So everyone in the KLAA has at least 1 win this season. So everyone's a winner, and that's good to see.
Yeah, I mean that was a great win for Coach Medell and the Canton team. He spent a lot of time helping build that Salem program as the JV coach. To get that win this year as his first. I mean, I sent him a text as soon as I saw it, just congratulating him. I've known Coach Medell for 20 years, and I was really happy for him and his program to, get that win, have a chance to win the park championship. So that's exciting for those guys over there in Canton.
Yeah, and then of course you got 2 big wins for Plymouth as well. They went on to Ferris State and beat Reeds Puffer and Big Rapids. They beat Puffer 7-4 and Big Rapids 8-0. So a good week out on the west side of the state for them. As I mentioned, also I mentioned that Salem lost in overtime to Canton. They also lost to Byron Center as well, 6-2. So they actually played a really good Byron Center team. And then two big wins for the Red Stallions, beat Divine Child 2-1, and then Troy United 10-2. So that was the week it was in the KLAA. So it should be a solid week there. Let's time to preview the week for Novi. Okay, so you're looking, of course, you mentioned Livonia Stevenson. Tonight, of course, it's a big game for you because you went to Stevenson. So I know what's that game gonna be like for you personally, going up against the team you played for?
Yeah, homecomings are always fun. You enjoy them when you're in high school. You go to the big dance. Homecomings as a coach is fun as well. I got to play there for a couple of years. My brother played there afterwards for me. Afterwards, I got to play for Coach Mike Humet, who was an awesome coach. Really was a good mentor for me. Really helped me, find my way as a coach. And then my brother got to come in, play for the early years of Coach Mitchell, who's now got 15 plus years of state title, state runners up, just a really well coached team. I also live in the Stevenson area. I live in northern Livonia, so I'm always surrounded by that double blue and white. So for me personally, it's special. It's nice to come back to Edgar, where I grew up playing. I've even played men's league, where my kids learned to skate. But at the end of the day, it's another game for us. It's an opportunity to get back on track. Kind of right the wrongs of a bad week and kind of enter into our next 20% of the season. We always look everything in 5-game spurts. We get kicked off into a really good stretch of games, starting with Stevenson. So for me, there's some excitement, but at the end of the day, we're going to show up, we're going to compete hard, we're going to get back on track. There's 22 guys that are really determined right now to make this game kind of our stomping ground, to say, hey, last week was an anomaly. This is who we are. So we're excited for that. We know Stevenson's going to fight hard. Like you mentioned, they had a really nice week. Coach Dagata, former Stevenson coach, took that Saline team. It was a 2-1 game. They also, had that 3-2 win against Plymouth. So they're playing good hockey against good teams, and we're looking forward to making them scratch and claw for everything they earned tonight.
Yeah. Okay. So also, and then of course on Saturday, the entire league will be in action. Of course, at the Adam Mitchell Showcase, at Eddie Edgar. So, and obviously, for you, this is your first year being a part of that, and I know you have ties to that as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. First time coaching it. Used to scout it at Lawrence Tech, but Adam Mitchell, Mr. Mitchell was just an awesome guy. When I was in 8th grade at Holmes, I got to be one of his counseling aides in first hour. Heard his stories of being with the Red Wings, and hearing his stories of when he coached Stevenson. Back in 70s, 80s. So it's an awesome opportunity to get to coach and honor a great man who had such an impact on so many hockey players. In Livonia, in the state of Michigan. So I'm excited for that. It's an awesome event. Anytime you get to play against MIHL teams, for us Cranbrook, it's just awesome. It's KLA, I think, is one of the two best leagues in high school hockey. MIHL being the other. We get to come together and battle for supremacy. We're hoping to contribute to that and help the KLAA kind of win this series this year.
Yeah, the KLAA has never won the KLAA MIHL Classic. I believe they have tied, but either they've tied or the MIHL has taken it. So
correct, and that's something us coaches, we know that scoreboard pretty well.
Yeah. All right. Let's go through all the games that day. Start bright and early at 9:30 a.m. Canton will take on Gibraltar Carlson. Then at 10:30, Plymouth will take on Port Huron Northern. I forgot the over in rink A. The Canton game will be in rink B. In rink B at 11:30, it's the Livonia Red Stallions taking on Grosse Pointe South. Over in rink A at 12:30, it will be Novi taking on Cranbrook. So that will be at 12:30. At 1:30 in rink B, Salem will take on Detroit U of D Jesuit. At 3 o'clock in rink A, it's Northville and Warren de La Salle. In rink B at 4 o'clock, it's Howell and Orchard Lake St. Mary's. In rink A at 5 o'clock, Heartland will take on Brother Rice. At 6 o'clock in rink B, the finale over in that rink, it's Stevenson taking on Trenton. And then the finale in Rink A, and the last game of the day at 7, Brighton will take on Detroit Catholic Central in the rematch of the D1 state finals. So yeah, the pretty exciting day. If you are a hockey fan, it is going to be a jam-packed day for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I mean, I think every game you mentioned is going to be really tight. I think, everybody's excited for their own game. I know there's going to be a lot of excitement around that final game, Brighton and CC. So we're all going to, like I said, all KLA teams are going to work to make this our year. But we know it's not going to be an easy one. So it's, a great day of hockey. I mean, 12 plus hours of hockey. So if you are a hockey lover, I mean, it's a great event to get out to. Hopefully we see you there, and hopefully you're supporting the KLA.
Yeah, it's I'll be there for a portion of it. I know obviously Craig and Petey. Well, Petey is Craig, so he'll be there. The state champs guys will be there. Bill Kahn and Tim Eric will be there as well for a portion of the day, because those Livingston County games are I think I know the last 4 is a lot of good game. There's good games throughout the day, but I know a lot of people want to come to see those last 4. So it will be pretty good to see. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Cats Corner. Thank you so much for watching. We'll tune in next week where we'll recap all of these games. Plus, we'll also preview Novi's clashes with Lakeland and Birmingham United next week. So stay tuned.